Good evening. The news gang is here. Tonight, the Msambweni Bad Manners contest and how ODM man lost to ODM, apparently. Also on the show, the Sonko, the Senate, and the saga. We have the case, the intrigues, and the projections. Yvonne's Take 6, a healthy lesson from COVID-19. Gashuri punches into the big bellies of politicians and other fat cats. The Kika celebrates the Kenyan spirit, and the angle is about the enduring lessons in the midst of school closure. And the memo tonight is that Jamila Mohammed is on a short break and won't be joining us for the show, but Njoki Shege will. She's our gang sign language interpreter. All right, welcome to the show, and we will actually begin at the Senate. I think those hearings are still going on, and we can just see a little bit of what's happening there. The Nairobi governor facing the Senate, having a date there, his impeachment hearings entering the second and last day, and they are going to be making a decision sometime this evening, from what we understand.
Devolution on trial because we are going to truncate by a vote, if it's positive, the will of the people. But it also sends a message to our governors that abiding by the law and procedures set out in management of public affairs are not options. There are cardinal requirements in managing public affairs. I want to urge members, don't vote because so-and-so has told you to vote, or you are voting because you have been influenced. Vote because you have had the evidence as it was given here. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the documents, these bulk documents were brought as we started the hearing of the case. Some members may not even have gone through these documents. Unfortunately, that is the situation. I urge us to be as just and as fair as we possibly can, knowing that the future must be improved in this process. Thank you.
Senator Millicent Omanga.
Speaker, what I would say is I stand up to oppose this motion. Mr. Speaker, these are interesting times to live in. Mr. Speaker, when I heard the MCA actually talk about intimidation, it was closer home because, Mr. Speaker, you know, the kind of intimidation even members of this House have gone through. Mr. Speaker, you know, in this House, even leadership or chairman of committees, they are not there by merit. It is because maybe they are robots to some to orders from above, from the executive. Mr. Speaker, what I just want, because of time, to actually just read one thing, because we lost a colleague, and I'm actually mourning Senator Kabaka. And the last message Senator Kabaka wrote on our WhatsApp group, 3 hours before he started, before he went to hospital.
There's a point of order from Senator Farhia.
My time, hope, Speaker, it will not.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we've been called puppets, we've been called robots. I think this allegation needs to be substantiated.
All right, proceedings there at the Senate. As I mentioned, that is the impeachment hearing of Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. And Francis, I want to send you on reporting duties tonight. What exactly, what exactly is going on here? I know yesterday they sat and today again, but today they must take a vote. What is Sonko dealing with this time?
Thanks, Joe. That's a lawful order that I must comply with. and I so do. Well, what's happening basically is that after the Senate, the prosecutor, in this case the County Assembly, yesterday had an opportunity to lay their case. Today, Sonko, the accused person, before the senators, had an opportunity to respond to the allegations or the grounds for his impeachment. And obviously the witnesses who were called, each side had an opportunity to cross-examine them. Now it is the opportunity for the speaker, for the senators, to make a decision. what they heard from the prosecutors, that is the county assembly, and what they heard from Sonko, the governor, the accused person, do they see merit in the grounds for impeachment that were laid? 4 of them, gross misconduct, abuse of office, violation of the constitution and other laws. Quite a number of things were said about the governor, and he has defended himself, even pointing that some of the allegations that have been leveled against him amount to character assassination. On the other hand, even raising questions on the integrity of the mover of the motion, Michael Ogada, about some 825,000 shillings interest that he did not surrender. But on the other hand, the county assembly laying its case, pointing how the governor's daughter went to
New York.
840, yeah, New York,
and overflew some places,
overflew some cities,
Pennsylvania on a chopper.
But the trick is how they claim that she went there as a member of the county,
as a county administrator.
Yeah, as a ward administrator, trying to lay the case for conflict of interest. But this is the scenario as it is now, Joe. Other than the legal issues, this is purely a political issue. Whether Sonko survives or does not is purely a political issue. And a short while ago, I was watching the proceedings, and you could tell the all too familiar handshake versus anti-handshake discourse is on the floor of the Senate. And that is likely also to influence how the senators will vote. This is the case. Sonko requires at least 23 votes to survive. And the team that is pushing for his impeachment requires at least 24 votes to send him home. Why? Because the voting numbers are 46 after the demise of Senator Kabaka. So if it's a draw, 23-23, he survives. But if it is 24, a majority of the county governments or the delegations, he will go home. Although he still has an appellate mechanism in the judiciary to raise issues about the procedure and everything else.
It is not over. And
it's not over until it is over. Yeah. And it is also important to contrast what is happening now and what happened in the impeachment of Governor Anne Waiguru of Kirinyaga, and also what happened in the impeachment proceedings against former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu. This is purely a political issue. And look at even how the mobilization is being done. You can tell the route that it is likely to take. Some of the senators who have not been to the House for either as a result of ailment or something else are finding their way to the Senate. And over and above that, there's that question of electronic voting. She who will not be able to find their way to the House can vote electronically. You saw what happened to the MCAs who went to Kwale. Yes. And much as there were 56 physically there, some of them ended up voting.
Somehow their votes showed up.
I don't know whether you saw the affidavits that they saw denouncing what was happening in Kwale.
That they arrived
they
there,
were on a road trip, all of them. And they have recalled...
and their phones were confiscated upon arrival, and they don't understand what happened after that.
Yeah.
Interesting. But Linus, it is interesting that Francis says at the end of the day, this is coming down to politics, and to think that this is Governor Sonko, who not too long ago would call the president, or so he said, and put him on the speaker, you know, when he was going around doing different things in the city. And this year, on 25th, I think it was, in February, out of nowhere, goes to State House, signs things here, and how quickly things have deteriorated to the point where he's saying he was, I don't know, not sober when he was signing, and calling the president super governor, and all of these things. It just intrigues me how much things have changed over such a short period of time, and seemingly not in a very good direction for Governor Sonko.
You see, in the good old days, Joe, Governor Sonko liked to communicate using his hairstyle and haircuts. If you remember, during the ICC cases, he had a message on on the back of his head. If he was given the opportunity to do that right now, that head is not sufficient for what Sonko would like to say about what he's going through. Because what Sonko is going through is a breakdown of political relations with the national government, political relations with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And he actually sees the appointment and the execution of the duties of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services as an assault on his political space, demeaning of his authority, and all that. So this impeachment is only coming as part of what he has been going through in recent months. And Francis had pointed out about the political nature of this process. Impeachment is a purely political process. And in the Kenyan case, the Senate is going to be guided by only two precedents it set for itself. The first one was when it impeached, when the case of Anne Waiguru reached there, and the Senate decided to vote to use an 11-member select committee. And the Senate actually voted to save Anne Waiguru. When you fast track again to the issue of Governor Waititu, the Senate again acted politically. How was Waititu's relationship with the political establishment at the time of his impeachment? It was terrible. And Francis had pointed it out correctly. It always takes the lines, the political fault lines. And the wider the rift between the president and his deputy has been, the more vicious some of these cases have been executed. And tonight, where is Sonko sitting in the scheme of things? Obviously, everything is being looked at as Tanga Tanga versus Kieleweke, handshake versus anti-handshake, Uhuru, Raila on one side versus Ruto and his team on the other side. And this is the shape of events tonight. I'm watching, and we saw earlier the contributions there. Honestly, they don't amount to much, because what really matters tonight is the numbers. Mm-hmm. Who has the numbers? Does Sonko have the numbers to remain as governor of Nairobi? Can he deny the movers of this motion the magic 24 number? We don't know. But that is all that matters tonight. It's about who will raise the numbers. And I don't know if we can project at this hour. We are not following, as we speak right now, what is going on there. But all that can be said is it has been decided. It is a political contest. And no matter what those senators are saying on the floor, they are going to vote a particular way at the end of this evening.
Yvonne, very strange what we have seen over the last couple of months, and I think Lina has painted that picture. But the governor of Nairobi goes by him, probably in a car all by himself or something, or driven there, whatever that case was. But at least we're not aware that he was kidnapped and taken to State House. And he signs away key functions: the county health services, county transport services, public works, utilities and ancillary services, county government planning and development. What else could he have expected to be left with him to still walk around as the real governor of Nairobi? Because he seems to have woken up and is surprised that NMS is doing all of these things, which are really at the heart of what the county government is supposed to be doing. Right. But he was saying essentially that, you know what, I can't handle this, you take it over. And then now he's going around. There's an interesting political price he seems to be paying for something that I don't know, got himself into, or whether he was pushed into it.
If you remember when he was at State House signing that, and I know we all looked at those pictures and saw a completely different Sonko. He was formally dressed, which, we don't usually see. He was, dressed properly in a suit, but he also looked very subdued and, almost not himself. And in fact, before the county assembly, this is exactly what he said. He said, I was told that I'm going to be helped and that we're going to work together with the president. I was not told that the general was going to take over the functions. Nonetheless, he signed big, bulky documents, and we saw him put, hand to paper throughout this process. But it just does make you wonder about everything else that has been done at the county and what more we will unearth. Let us imagine he might be impeached. We will see what will happen. But, perhaps in 2022, if he survives this, how much else are we going to see that he signed off, without knowing? And you would have to wonder, what was happening, at this point. And remember, he was in a difficult spot at the time. He'd just gotten with the charges. He'd just been asked to vacate.
Actually, there was an impeachment motion that was pending against him.
That's right. So there was the impeachment motion then, and then remember he was having his court cases to do with corruption. He'd been asked to, not be in his office. He'd been quite embattled at that point, and openly talking about how he had been intoxicated and implicating State House and saying that, the alcohol was provided by officials at State House. Did he take it, one time too far by invoking the president's name and State House officials in just about everything? You have to wonder at what point, the back would break. And those are some of the interesting things. And just to add on to what Linus was talking about, people, voting a particular way.
We do understand. You want to listen to Senator Sakaja, yes, because I think his vote is going to be very important in this. I mean, where it falls. Because
right? What if he doesn't vote?
That would even be a bigger statement.
Because where he stands on this depends on where he sits?
Yes, let's listen to him a little bit.
Okay. And these three members of mine, Mr. Speaker, and I thank them, and the people of Nairobi, thank you. At that time, I fought alone. My MPs didn't support that. They said no, comma should be changed, no full stop. But I said the person in Nairobi, Article 1 says that the sovereign power is with the people and it's exercised at the national level and at the county level. The people of Nairobi are going to be disenfranchised not to exercise that power at the county level. I'm glad that the document that we have now, Nairobi remains a county. As I conclude, I want to give Nairobians hope. I know Francis Bacon once said that hope is a bad breakfast but a good supper. But I want to give the people of Nairobi and the people of Kenya hope that Nairobi can work as a county. Nairobi can thrive as a county. And when Nairobi works, all of your counties will be able to work. Please support Nairobi County. And to the governor of Nairobi, my friend, whom we've had a love-hate relationship, I don't know where the scales lie, whether it is more love or more hate. But Mr. Speaker is a brother. I want to give him the words of William Penn. No throne, no thorns, no throne. No cross, no crown. No girl, no glory. Senators, make a judicious decision. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, honorable senators. Honorable Senator, order. I still have a long list of senators who want to speak. I know we are elected to speak, but we must come to a close. All of you who are listed here have at least said something between yesterday and today. I seek your intelligence that I now put the question, which is that, I now order Senator Omanga. I'm on my feet. I now put the question, which is that the mover be called to reply. Okay. It's a procedural motion, but will as many of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many of the contrary of you say nay? The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to reply, or I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, there isn't much I can add. We've had a good 2 days. We've had the brilliance of lawyers speak to each other in arguments and counter-arguments. Members have been given opportunities to make this judgment. The time of reckoning has come. I just want to thank you, Speaker, for steering this House very well during the last 2 days. I must congratulate you for that. And many times we urge you to be strong and to be firm. And I want to thank these members. Mr. Speaker, the members have played out their role as senators, and I want to say thank you to all parties. And now, whatever you heard through the last 2 days, formed an opinion, put it to a vote. Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply.
Honorable senators, I now put the question, which is that whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution and Section of the County Government Act 2020 on Wednesday, 3rd December 2020, the Nairobi City County Assembly approved a motion for the removal from office by impeachment of the Honorable Mike Mbuvi Sonko, Governor of Nairobi City County. And further, whereas by letter reference number NCCA 1/SPK/12/2021, dated Friday, 4th December 2020, and received in the office of the Speaker of the Senate on Friday, 4th December 2020, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi City informed the Speaker of the Senate of the approval of the motion by the County Assembly, and further forwarded to the Speaker of the Senate documents in evidence of the proceedings of the Assembly. And whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2020 and Standing Order 75 of the Senate heard the County Assembly on the grounds of removal from office by impeachment of the Governor. And further, whereas pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order number 75, the Senate also heard the Governor for Nairobi City County on the grounds of removal from office by impeachment of the Governor. Now, therefore, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act 2012 and Standing Order 75, the Senate resolves to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Mike Mbuvi Sonko, the Governor of Nairobi City County, on the following charges: 1, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law; 2, abuse of office; 3, gross misconduct; and 4, crimes under national law. Like I guided earlier, we'll vote on each charge, and therefore direct that the bell be rung for 2 minutes. It's a division, Millicent.
All right, so the votes there about to get underway in the Senate. The senators there deciding the fate, literally, of Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Remember that they need at least 24 Senate delegations to vote in favor of the motion to impeach the governor for it to go through. If it's anything less than that, then the governor will survive. That is what we are monitoring, and in the next few minutes we'll be going there. But Francis, this is quite an interesting turn of events, considering that Nairobi is at the heart of what happens in this country, and we've seen drama after drama after drama with the arguments between Sonko and the NMS, and what seems to have broken the camel's back, as it were, was that comment of super governor. The president didn't seem quite amused, at least when he was having that meeting with the young people. I think it was at the Bomas of Kenya, and he made a passing reference to it, but I took note that the president doesn't just refer to statements that people make if those statements didn't mean something to him.
Actually, he called it matusi.
Yeah.
You remember he said kuna matusi, you know, I don't know whether ni matusi the super governor issue.
Yeah.
And the governor of Nairobi, his relationship with the president has gone south, very rapidly so. And it is interesting how in a span of about a year or thereabout, that relationship has gone down so badly. And the first indicator that the relationship has gone south was when Sonko was arrested in Voi.
Yeah.
You remember how the manner in which he was arrested that time, you could tell state power basically around it. That he was, you know, ambushed on the road on his way to Mombasa, and he was arrested in such an unceremonious way, hounded into a helicopter with handcuffs, brought to Nairobi. It would easily tell you this is an indicator of something that was happening. And then you also remember the discussion we had here about the deed of transfer. And we posed a question that time that didn't seem to make a few people happy, but later on, I mean, it was all seen. One, did Sonko know about the deed of transfer? Was he involved in its structuring? Did he know the content and the particulars of that deed of transfer? That time we submitted that he had no idea.
Yet his office actually at that time issued a statement that said that this was done after
benchmarking,
a long process that was well thought out, that included, yes, benchmarking in some key cities around the world.
obviously that was a face-saving statement, just to show that I was still in charge, I knew what was happening. Although the reverse is actually true. That you can sign off 4 key functions. Actually, the functions that were signed off are at the heart of the county government administration. When you have surrendered health services, public transport, public works, planning, where the budgeting issue also comes in, basically you're left with a shell of a government, so to say. And if you look at the schedule indicating the functions of the county governments, all the functions, the main, what I would call the meat, in terms of the operations in county governments, were handed back to the national government. So leaving the governor with a shell was the first indicator that something was amiss. And you remember that function at the KICC during the handing over of title deeds to Nairobians. The president said something that I found very interesting, that Huyu Jemedari, I don't know why the president calls General Jemedari. I don't know whether it's I wish Jamila was around to tell us whether Jemedari is the Swahili word for general. It is. Oh, okay. Jemedari hana haja na siasa. So, you know, let him do his work. At the end of his term, he will go back to the barracks. But what I still find interesting is that how the governor signed off that deed of transfer, yet he was basically surrendering all his powers, so to say, to the national government. Budgeting, revenue collection, health, you know, even basic services like water, roads, all those are the functions that are at the heart of the county government. By surrendering them, and then later telling us that this is not what I signed. This, you know, I was ambushed. I was didn't sound very, very interesting, and it could have been an indicator that things were going really south. And the deed of transfer, unfortunately, LK, is that if the governor was to go back to the deed of transfer, it will require a summit.
Francis, I think
very difficult.
We might need to check what's happening in the Senate. Let's hear what.
I vote yes.
Gerard K. Samson Kiprotich, Nandi County.
I vote no.
Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui, Kericho County.
I vote no.
Haji Mohammed Yusuf, Garissa County.
It's not there. It's not there. And there was even a letter.
Hagura Godana, Marsabit County.
I vote yes.
Imana Malakai Charles Sekal, Turkana County.
I vote no.
Kajwang Moses Otieno, Homa Bay County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Kamar Margaret Jebkoech, Wasingishu County.
I vote yes.
Kangata Irongo, Moranga County.
Interest.
I vote yes.
Haniri George, Vihiga County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Kibiru Charles Robinson, Kirinyaga County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Kihika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
I vote yes.
Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County.
I vote no.
Kirenyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County.
I vote yes, Mr. Speaker.
Langat Christopher Andrew, Bomet County.
I vote no. Senator Omanga, why don't you take your seat? You know, social distancing and we have enough tellers.
Leleguel Tumbesi, Samburu County.
I vote no.
Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County.
Weka sanitizer kidogo.
Wewe unakaa tu kuna. Weka sanitizer.
I vote no. Loitiptip Anwar, Lamu County.
Don't come.
I vote no.
Mazayo Stewart Mwachiru, Kilifi County.
I vote yes.
Mahamud Mohamed Maalim, Mandera County.
I vote no.
Malala Cleophas Wahungu, Kakamega County.
I vote yes.
Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako, Migori County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Mogeni Eric Okongo, Nyamira County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet, Baringo County.
I vote yes.
Mpayei Philip Salao, Kajiado County.
I vote no.
Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
The Speaker, I vote no.
Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Makueni County.
I abstain.
Mwangi Paul Githiomi, Nyandarua County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Maruma Jones Mwashushe, Taita Taveta County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Mwenye Haji Mohamed Faki, Mombasa County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Nderito John Kenywa, Laikipia County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Ndwiga Peter Njeru, Embu County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Olekina Ledama, Narok County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Ongeri Samson Kegengo, Kisii County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Orengo James, Siaya County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Outa Frederick Otieno, Kisumu County.
I vote yes.
Fogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Sakaja Johnson Arthur, Nairobi County.
Mr. Speaker, I abstain.
Wako Sitwila Amos, Busia County. On mic.
I vote yes.
Wambua Enoch Kio, Kitui County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Wario Golich Juma, Tana River County.
Mr. Speaker, ninapiga kura hapana. Ama la.
Wetangula Moses Masika, Bungoma County.
Mike, I vote yes.
All right, so what we've just witnessed is a vote, and what we understand is they're going to be voting on each of the 4 counts. Gashuri, is that right?
Definitely, Yvonne.
So what does that mean, if he's found, if they vote yes on 1 or 2 or 3 of the counts, maybe not all of them?
Well, the voting is on, what I heard the Speaker rule is that they will vote on each of the charges that have been leveled against the governor before the senators. They have just voted for the first charge.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I have been following the numbers. The numbers look like 24-22 in the first charge.
Yes.
24 yes, 22 no.
Okay.
So basically that says if any of the charges is confirmed by the senators, it is sufficient to confirm the impeachment motion against the governor that was passed by the county assembly. Regardless of what happens for the 3 other charges, whether the numbers change or they don't change, as long as one charge has been confirmed, then it is as good as saying he has been, the Senate has confirmed the impeachment.
But also it's also true, ladies and gentlemen, that the way we've seen people voting, I mean, you could almost predict who's going to vote where, which is to say that it is almost unthinkable that they would, impeach it, or at least, confirm his impeachment on one of the charges and then free him or, clear him on the rest. It just appears, as you could see, the divide is very clear. You could tell that that everybody who is a supporter of the DP or something that's been called Tanga Tanga is going to vote no. Everybody who is a handshake is going to vote yes. I mean, it is so clear, except for one or two people who find themselves caught up in an interesting situation, like the Nairobi governor, like the governor for Makueni, I think it was.
And the governor and the senator for Lamu, who is an in-law to the governor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So very interesting dynamics there that have nothing to do with the gravity or otherwise of those charges, Linus.
Yes, indeed. Although, even as we see the politics behind the vote tonight, what has been happening for the last 2 days is a court-like trial of Governor Mike Sonko, complete with lawyers. We saw lawyer Ndegwa Njiru returning to the Senate again. He's becoming quite a name when it comes to impeachment motions. Remember, this was the lawyer that represented the County Assembly of Kirinyaga during the trial of Governor Anne Waiguru. And today he made his way back again, and yesterday as well, to represent the County Assembly of Nairobi. So as much as there is politics, what case Sonko is facing has been summarized into 4 charges. The first charge is that of gross violation of the Constitution. The second charge is that of abuse of office.
I think they're announcing something, Linus, I think.
Okay.
Senator Kibiru Charles Robinson, Kirinyaga County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Kehika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County.
I vote no.
Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County.
This one?
So Linus, you were explaining something. It does appear that they are actually voting on each of those charges and then they tabulate the results in the end, but you were making a point.
That's right. The process is that they'll vote on each of the charges. The first charge was that of gross violation of the Constitution, and that is the one that we just witnessed till the end. Francis, you spoke of numbers there. I think right now they are on the charge of abuse of office. Mm-hmm. After that, they'll vote again on the question of gross misconduct. And finally, they'll vote on crimes committed under national law. Those are the 4 charges that Governor Mike Sonko is facing. What is key to note here is conviction in one is sufficient to send a governor out of office. Meaning right now, it's not looking like a good night for Mike Sonko. If indeed, Francis, the numbers we have are accurate, if it's 24, remember the magic number is to cross the number 24. Yep. And that is what looks like the movers of this motion have achieved on the first charge of gross violation of the Constitution. Should this trend continue for the next 3 issues, then it means that Governor Sonko's impeachment would have been upheld, Joe.
Yes. Very interesting, because I was listening to just the first few senators who were voting there, on the second charge, and it struck me that the votes were looking like it was going to be exactly the same. We've seen Ephraim Maina over there voting yes. We've seen Senator Kithure Kindiki voting no, exactly the same way he did. And I can almost bet that Senator Gideon Moi right now, who's on the screen, is actually going to vote yes. That is how predictable this whole thing has become, Yvonne.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about, those who have abstained. So there's Senator Mutula Jr. and Senator Johnson Sakaja. What does, abstaining mean in this regard? On which side is it counted? And also just politically, these 2 abstaining, why?
It's also a question of playing safe, Yvonne. You play safe by abstaining. so that you're not seen to have voted for or against.
Why would Senator Mutula want to be sort of in the middle of
Where
this
does he
matter?
come from?
Yeah.
Where does he come from? Why is Senator Wambua
Gosh,
voting
is that
no?
predictable?
Yeah. But you see, also Joe, LK and Yvonne, cleverly, abstaining is also a vote for no.
Yeah, because you are basically reducing the number of people who vote yes and deny.
But a safe way to do it, just so that you can wriggle out. Because if you look at what the bit that we watched about Senator Sakaja speaking on the floor of the House and talking about Nairobi, he seemed to me that he was walking out of the issue at hand and addressing the audience directly and talking to Nairobians. Nairobians are home watching you, Senator Sakaja. So it's up to what you will do on the floor of the House. They have absolutely no contribution to make in what the Senate is doing right now. But what we saw Sakaja doing there is politics. Could it be in line with his ambitions or could it be in line with his current position as senator for Nairobi? Or maybe he just doesn't want to upset the Sonko base and he wants to still look...
Yeah, I mean,
and that is so important. That's so important, actually, if you are going to vie for anything. I mean, there has been talk around town that Senator Sakaja would like to vie for governor someday, and you don't want to go down on record as that man who ruffled Sonko's feathers when he was down, because I think whether he goes home tonight or whatever happens, he still has quite some loyal base out there.
Absolutely, and you don't want to look like you were taking advantage of a process like this one, you know, for political gain, whatever that would be in 2022, and trying to play safe. Well, I guess, you know, that's an interesting thing, but there was something interesting also that happened, you know, on the floor of the Senate when Governor Sonko was defending himself. He actually apologized to the president for some of the remarks that, you know, he had made, and admitted to, you know, the charge of taking his daughter on this joyride trip to the United States. So, you know, in some ways, just realizing, you know, where this was for him, and perhaps just saying, okay, you know what, I'm sorry, I know there are some things that I've done. And I found that very interesting from a man who's always been very boisterous and doing what he wants and putting messages on his hair, and who defied the president not once when the president asked him to support Buddy, to support the NMS, and to release funds. He asked him, what, was it twice or three times in public when, you know, in fact, both of them, all three of them rather, were at the same event. So, I mean, I guess even for him, he knew this afternoon that the die was cast.
And Yvonne, it would also be very interesting to just sample or know what the public opinion as far as Nairobi residents lies tonight. Is anyone crying or sad or mourning about what is going on in the Senate? I doubt that.
They could be, okay.
The point that should be made is this is not just down to the breakdown of the relationship between the governor of Nairobi and the president. It's also down to how was the city run at the time.
Yeah.
And remember when NMS started showing some signs of performance, a bit of public opinion started swaying their way. They see Buddy as effective, NMS as effective. And talking of the president of the Republic is a resident, or his office is based in the capital, which is Nairobi. Any president should be interested in how the capital is run. In other places, way back in 1976, Murtala Muhammad, the general that was leading Nigeria at the time, decided Lagos was too chaotic, was too disorderly to be the seat of government, and that's how Abuja was created. Now, Uhuru Kenyatta cannot create another city, but he must have an interest in what and how it is run. Which is why if you look at the deed of transfer, the things that were targeted were really potential legacy issues.
Yeah.
When you look at health, public transport, planning, basically NMS is effectively taking over the running of the city of Nairobi. What that means is the president also has a direct hand, because these are his appointees. This is his team. So it is a bypass of the of the structures as they exist currently, so to allow the national government sort of to have a hand in running the city. Is it a good thing? Devolution supporters, devolution adherents would feel this is not a good trend, especially with the potential that it can go to other places.
And interesting how the president has been propping up NMS and praising them at every opportunity that he gets. And I remember even the other day during his Jamhuri Day speech, he kept finding reasons to actually shower NMS with praises. The 24 health hospitals that they're going to build in the informal settlements, and
which are supposed to be launched by Christmas. It's supposed to be a Christmas gift. So.
Exactly. And so the president has not wasted any time in propping up the NMS and projecting it as the solution that Nairobi has been waiting for all of these years, and a solution as opposed to what Sonko has been doing. And I think he's been trying to draw that contrast, perhaps ahead of things like these ones, but also just to win the hearts and minds of Nairobians that actually the NMS is now doing what the government, the county government, should have been doing for the word go.
And actually, that is why I was surprised, that the proposal to have Nairobi, not be a county and be managed by the national government was removed from the BBI proposal, because this deed of transfer expires, in 2022?
Yeah, early on, but it is renewable.
It is renewable, right. After that, it's a 2-year term, isn't it?
And that would depend entirely, actually, on the person who becomes governor. They can still decide,
Yeah, to continue,
Absolutely, and Joe, put it this way. If there's one fundamental thing that has brought Sonko down or is bringing him down tonight, and from the onset, is the question of funds to NMS. You see, when the county assembly prepared a budget and allocated 37.4 billion shillings to NMS, what Sonko did, first of all, he rejected that budget and he returned it to the county assembly with a memorandum detailing reasons for not signing it. What did the MCAs do? They congregated, got the numbers to overturn the memorandum as is required by the standing orders. That should have been a clear sign to the governor that holding on to the funds going to NMS, his issues or his questions or his challenges notwithstanding, was probably not a very good idea politically for him. He may have had very good reasons to stop the money from going to NMS and everything else, but politically it was not going to work for him, because I don't know whether you remember during the KICC event, the president saying anyone standing in the way of NMS tutapita na yeye.
Exactly.
Now, if kupita na yeye was a person, this is now what is happening to Sonko. Basically, the president is actualizing what he said at KICC. The verbal statement of kupita na yeye is now being actualized in the Senate. And I would say so because look at the numbers. Look at how the voting is looking like. I mean, seated here, we could tell. When so-and-so is mentioned, we could say yes. When so is mentioned, we could say no, because it was clear how even the mobilization in terms of voting was done. You could see the clear dichotomy between those who are going to vote to save Sonko and those who are going to vote to send him away. And the message is all too clear that the handshake is demonstrating that it has the numbers in Parliament. Remember the earlier discussion on who controls Parliament? Now some of those questions are being responded to. And the mobilization was done with a certain desire in mind. And that's why from yesterday I was saying, regardless of what the county assembly will present as evidence, regardless of what Sonko will present as evidence to exonerate himself from the accusations that were leveled against him, it was not going to count. The die was long cast. Look at it this way. The first charge has been done. The votes came in. The second one, the third one, the fourth one. The pattern will be the same. Actually, I dare say, progressively, the numbers may even increase as the charges are read and the voting is being done. So maybe the only safety that the governor has now is in courts. And but also the courts are also not a sure bet. Remember what happened in the Employment and Labor Relations Court when he took a matter to try and stop the process? The judges...
Or indeed earlier today.
Or even earlier today. And even yesterday, actually. So you could clearly see that whatever happens or was going to happen was long predetermined. And trying to save himself was a political contest more than a legal contest. And don't be surprised by tomorrow morning if, or even probably by close of business today, a gazette notice will come from the government printer telling the country of what has happened.
Actually,
and the steps thereafter.
By midnight, close of business ended a couple of hours ago.
If it is not already, if it is not ready already.
Yeah, there you go.
And the things you're saying, Francis, should be very worrying for the image of the Senate, because it doesn't come across as an independent institution capable of making its own decisions.
Was it ever likely to be?
It was designed to be. It was designed to be a place where that can function almost with the fairness of an independent court. But when faced with all these political questions, the Senate, it seems, in permanence, will always act politically. If you look at what they did with the Waiguru issue and the Waititu issue, they actually followed a particular thread. If that was the desire of the powers that be, that is what exactly the Senate came to just put a stamp of approval. So what we are also saying tonight is this Senate will put a stamp of approval on the wishes of forces that are beyond the sphere of the Senate itself.
Yeah. But isn't that a really disturbing thing to talk about with regard to the Senate, that actually, whatever you want to say, those charges that were presented, the arguments that came from both the prosecution in this case and even Sonko's defense, that actually those amounted to nothing. At the end of the day, it's actually where someone stands politically that counts.
But it's not the first time we are seeing that. Remember with the
which
Governor...
makes it even more worrying.
Which makes it even more worrying. But it's just a confirmation once again. Remember with Governor Waititu, these deliberations and the voting went late into the night. Was it around midnight when, you know, they finally, voted to approve the impeachment charges that had been passed by the county assembly? By midnight, his impeachment had been gazetted by the Kenya Gazette. You know, the government seemed to work very efficiently when we know it works in different ways. If I'm not wrong, by the very next day, you know, a judge had been found to swear in the Deputy Governor Nyoro, except I think there was, you know, a bit of a delay and then it was pushed to the day after that. I mean, but I think there's been very clear evidence that when the government wants something, they push it and shove it and, you know, ram it down. These processes that happen at the Senate, that there's always a predetermined outcome. And from what we hear, again, sources are saying that the two handshake proponents really did mobilize the numbers in this particular case. Maybe it would be good to also listen in a little bit and see where we are with the vote. Let's listen.
They should be on the third.
Okay, other senators, we are now going to the final vote.
Charge number 4.
Charge number 4.
Charge number 4, crimes under national law. Roll call vote. Senator Adan Dulo Fatuma, Isiolo County.
I vote yes.
Senator Ali Abdullahi Ibrahim, Wajir County.
I vote yes.
Senator Boy Issa Juma, Kwale County.
I vote yes.
Senator Gerard K. Samson Kiprotich, Nandi County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Cheriot Aaron Kipkirui, Kericho County.
I vote no to impunity.
Senator Haji Mohamed Yusuf, Garissa County. Senator Hargura Godana, Marsabit County.
I vote yes.
Senator Imana Malakai Charles Ekal, Turkana County.
I vote no.
Senator Kajuang Moses Otieno, Homa Bay County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Kamar Margaret Jepkoech, Uasin Gishu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kangata Irongo, Moranga County.
Vote yes.
Senator Haniri George, Vihiga County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kibiru Charles Robinson, Kirinyaga County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Kihika Susan Wakarura, Nakuru County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi Paul, Kiambu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Kindiki Kithure, Tharaka Nithi County.
I vote no.
Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County.
Senator Ibrahim Maina.
Senator Langat Christopher Andrew, Bomet County.
I vote no.
Senator Lelegwel Tumbesi, Samburu County.
I vote no.
Senator Linturi Franklin Mithika, Meru County.
I vote no.
Senator Loitiptip Anwar, Lamu County.
I vote no.
Senator Matsayo Stewart Mwachiru, Kilifi County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mahamud Mohamed Maalim, Mandera County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Malala Cleophas Wahungu, Kakamega County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbito Michael Malinga, Trans Nzoia County.
I vote yes.
Senator Mbogo George Ochilo Ayako, Migori County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo, Nyamira County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Moi Gideon Kipsielei Towet.
I vote yes.
Senator Mpayei Philip Salau, Kajiado County.
I vote no.
Senator Murkomen Onesimus Kipchumba, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Senator Murkomen.
The Speaker, in defense of devolution and in fight against impunity, I vote a big no.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., Makueni County.
I abstain.
Senator Mwangi Paul Gedhiomi, Nyandarua County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mwaruma Jones Mwashushe, Taita Taveta County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Mwenye Haji Mohamed Faki, Mombasa County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Nderito John Kenywa, Laikipia County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Ndwiga Peter Njero, Embu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Olekina Ledama, Narok County.
Mr. Speaker, in defense of the Constitution of Kenya, devolution, I vote no.
Senator Ongeri Samson Kegengo, Kisii County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Orengo James, Siaya County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Outa Frederick Otieno, Kisumu County.
I vote yes.
Senator Pogisio Samuel Losuron, West Pokot County.
I vote yes.
Senator Sakaja Johnson Arthur, Nairobi County.
I abstain.
Senator Wambua Enoch Keyo, Kitui County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Wako Sitwila Amos, Busia County.
No. I vote yes.
Senator Wario Golich Juma, Tana River County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote no.
Senator Wetangula Moses Masika, Bungoma County.
Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Senator Kirinyaga Ephraim Mwangi Maina, Nyeri County.
Dunia. Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Well, put it this way, my friends, it's a done deal for Sonko. The numbers have worked against him, as we clearly predicted here. Yvonne was the Chebukati of News Gang this evening, and I was the Professor Goulier of News Gang this evening.
You're quite a depleted IBC.
Yeah, the two of us. So we want to co-opt one of you. So that we are three. But the final vote, Yvonne has the results for the fourth charge.
Yeah, which is crimes under national law. Yes, the yes vote 25, the
27.
no vote Oh, sorry, 27. That's right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yes, 27. I'm sorry. And the no vote was 16, with 2 abstaining. That's Senator Mutula Jr. and Senator Johnson Sakaja.
The first charge actually was 27-17.
Oh.
Yeah, 27-17. So clearly the numbers are not looking good for the governor. And probably
17 means...
17 voted no, 27 voted against. But you see, the 27 voted for and 17 voted against. The numbers that we are working with here are 45. Because Senator Yusuf Haji of Garissa is absent. Right. And no one could have voted for him. And of course, Senator Kabaka is deceased. So it's 45. The magic number still remained 24. Actually, now this is 20. Looks like 23 now. Oh yeah, because only 45. Right. It's a simple majority thing. Okay. So if
but bottom line that it is 23. It is
but
done.
Regardless of what could have happened, as long as the first charge was confirmed by the Senate, whatever happened to the other 3 charges was immaterial. So, and obviously, how the numbers looked like in the first charge was going to be replicated in the second, third, and fourth charge. And this shows you how the mobilization was done. And that the governor was going to be impeached was not a question of if, but when. Remember, he has survived this impeachment, especially at the county assembly.
Okay, let's hear the speaker now.
Let's hear what the speaker has to say.
Order, senators, take your seat. Leader. Okay, honorable senators, this is a summary of the division, of the result of the division. 1, gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. The ayes had 27. The nays had 16, abstentions 2, the ayes have it. Charge number 2, abuse of office, the ayes 27, the nays 16, abstentions 2, the ayes have it. On charge number 3, gross misconduct, the ayes have 27, the nays 16, abstentions 2, the ayes have it. Charge number 4, crimes under national law, the ayes 27, the nays 16, abstentions 2, the ayes have it. Honorable senators, the effect of the vote is that pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Government Act, and Standing Order number 75 of the Senate Standing Orders, Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko of Nairobi City County stands impeached. Honorable senators, having concluded the business of the day, it's now time to adjourn the House. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until Monday, 21st December 2020 at 2:30. There's a special sitting on Monday.
All right, Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka there concluding the sitting with that announcement that Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko of Nairobi now stands impeached. The Senate having voted there 27 yes, 16 no, 2 abstentions almost on all the counts except 1, but all the same the 27 remaining intact, meaning that the Senate has effectively confirmed what the county assembly did about 2 weeks ago. That means that Governor Sonko has been removed as governor. Of course, as we were discussing, he still has options to go to court and that sort of thing. But as far as the impeachment process is concerned, the Senate has done what the law provides that it can do if it chooses to, depending on what it thinks about the charges that were laid before it. So a very dramatic development, a very interesting twist to what has been endless drama, if you like, within the city of Nairobi, Francis.
And Joe, what is interesting is the uniformity in voting. from charge 1 to charge 4. The numbers look the same.
Exactly.
Actually, our IEBC here with Yvonne on the first charge, I think we missed it slightly.
Because we started, when we tuned in, I think that already started the vote.
They had started counting.
Yeah.
But 27...
It's almost as if it was computerized. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Actually, it's copy-paste.
And their server was in France or somewhere.
Yeah.
Because but
the
yes,
backup,
Francis,
luckily the backup was around, so we have taken advantage of the backup because I suspect the guys in France are asleep.
But the uniformity issue, Francis, tallies with what we had said at the beginning of the show, which is this is a political process. These senators made up their minds long before this session started.
Or their minds were made up
a long time ago.
Yes. How they are going to vote was decided long ago. It wasn't going to be on substance. And that is why on every issue, 4 out of 4, they voted the same way. And I think what Kenyans will be asking now is, what next? And what next is Article 182 of the Constitution, which is what happens in the event of the vacancy of the office of governor. But Nairobi is tricky because we do not really have a substantive deputy governor. But what happens in this case is Article 182, Subarticle 4 kicks in, and it reads, I just want to read it out. If a vacancy occurs in the office of county governor and that of deputy governor, or if the deputy governor is unable to act, the Speaker of the County Assembly shall act as county governor. That is Article 182, Subarticle 4 of the Constitution of Kenya. So that means the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi, Francis, should start warming up to take up the seat. Barring what Joe was talking about, which is the option of stopping this process or reversing the process through the courts, which in my view is quite unlikely. If you look at the case of Waititu as a precedent, the courts are very reluctant to interfere with some of these political processes that seem to take a natural course. Because the courts are also made up of people who understand
politics,
the issues of our society. They are part of us. They have seen where it started and they know how it's going. Will the courts be violating the rights of Sonko if they didn't, if they told him no, the impeachment stands? Those are the questions that the judges will be asking themselves if Sonko chooses to challenge this process in court. Otherwise, without that, Article 182, Subarticle 4 shall take effect. And the next governor should be the Speaker of the
And we're going to
Assembly.
take a short break because we have held that break for a long time. So we're taking a short break here on News Gang. We'll be right back with a few more thoughts and, of course, our final words on this show for the year.